I've been writing cases for almost 15 years, so this is a very, very special award for me, given that I've written so many cases. To finally have a case that's gained such a high level of international recognition, it's very rewarding. Yeah, it's really exciting to have my case used in so many different countries and so many different universities and schools around the world. But I guess the thing that I'm happiest about is that it is a fun, engaging case. So the very fact that it's being taught in classrooms gives me the satisfaction that there are students and instructors that are actually enjoying the case just as I've enjoyed using it in the classroom. I guess when you write a case from secondary sources, one of the biggest advantages is speed because if you have the resources available, as my authors and I had, we had the time, we were actually able to get a very rich amount of information quite quickly, and to write up the case also quickly. So that meant that the time between instigating the case and then actually taking it in the classroom was relatively short. I think we really finished the case in 5 or 6 weeks. When you're writing a case from primary sources, as I've also done, you're very much depending on the interactions with the company, and then also, of course, the sometimes trials and tribulations of getting final sign off. So, with a company like Nestle, Nespresso, there is so much rich information in the public domain that we could write a very, very good case without actually having to go to the primary sources as such. I think one of the greatest things about the Nespresso case is the fact that so many people have some experience with the product. If they don't own an Nespresso machine themselves, they've almost certainly experienced Nespresso at an event or at a friend's home. So pretty much everybody knows the product, and that doesn't matter whether you're teaching the case in the UK or the US or India, which I've done. People know the product. So that does bring an advantage. The other thing, of course, is that we have some wonderful supporting materials to go with the case. And all I need to do is mention George Clooney, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, John Malkovich. So in addition to the written case, we were able to provide some wonderful multimedia resources, video in particular, which again, just brings more experience to the case itself. So whenever I walk into the classroom, I walk in with an espresso machine, with some capsules, we try the product, and then, of course, I then use the multimedia to complement the teaching of the case as well. Um, as an academic, the thing that I liked the most about the case was that it was a real business issue and a real business challenge. The reality was that Nestle, Nespresso had innovated with the concept of Nespresso. So we're able to actually talk and to demonstrate how real innovation, works in practice. But what it's also about then is how do you sustain competitive advantage? Because where we step into the case, Nespresso is already established, it's been around, patents are expiring, and copycats are starting to step into the market. So we then, are not only able to talk about innovation, we're also then able to talk about how does a firm sustain the advantage that it's built from innovation and respond to competition. So for me, it was very exciting writing the case because actually it was what I call a living case. As we were writing the case, events were unfolding. And in fact, to this day, when you use the case in the classroom, it's still a living case because Nespresso as a brand still continues to evolve. So, it's a case that it never dates as such. You can always come back to the present day and relate what the company is doing in a contemporary sense. My top tips for writing a great case is number one, write about a topic that excites you, that you're interested in, because then you can throw your energy into it. Then you can, get a buzz out of the actual process of learning. The second thing is, you need to find a story, a situation, a complication, a challenge that's compelling and to which the answer is not obvious, because your students might go out and Google, what the company did or has done after the timing of the case. But that's almost irrelevant, because what is more important is that the question in the case has multiple possibilities in terms of the way that the company can address the challenge or complication. And that makes it very, very interesting, because even if your students can see what the company has done, it's not necessarily true that what the company has done has been successful, or could not have been more successful. So, find a case with that compelling question. And then the third thing, which I've alluded to in some earlier questions, is, the richer you can make the case in terms of bringing the product into the classroom, giving people real experience with it, complementing the written case with online resources or multimedia, this is all going to make a much, much richer experience than just a paper-based case. So that's also something I look for. So that's the three things. Make sure it's exciting, make sure it has a compelling question or challenge, and thirdly, that it's something as a brand or a company or an experience that people can engage with.